Are you an internationally qualified nurse who's working in UK, Ireland, Spain, Singapore, America, or the provinces of British Columbia and Ontario in Canada, and now you want to move to Australia as a registered nurse and make this beautiful country your home? You have landed on the right video, my friends. We had done a small short video on this topic last month when APRA introduced its new streamlined assessment pathway, which is effective from April 2025. But now we have more details about the eligibility requirements for this pathway, so I thought let me make a small video for all of you so that you are clear and you have a better understanding about the eligibility requirements if you want to undergo this assessment in the new pathway. So before we discuss the eligibility requirement under this new pathway, you need to understand what is the purpose or benefit of taking this new pathway. So the benefit of taking this pathway is that you do not need to write the NCLEX and OSCE examinations to get your license in Australia, and you will be able to get exempted from these exams and get a direct registration with APRA in Australia. Okay, now let's talk about the pathway. There are two pathways in this streamlined assessment process. One is pathway 1, which is basically for those nurses who have done a degree, a nursing degree in one of these countries. That is Ireland, UK, Spain, Singapore, America, or the provinces of Canada, wherein you have British Columbia and Ontario. So if you have done your nursing degree in one of these countries and you have 1,800 hours of work experience as a registered nurse after your nursing registration, then you are eligible under this pathway, and depending upon your circumstances, you may be exempted from the requirement of IELTS. Mostly those who study in these countries, they have done their primary and secondary school education also there, so there's no need for them to write the IELTS or OET examination. As I said, you may be exempted there, and this is a very straightforward pathway for these nurses who want to get their nursing license in Australia and start working as a registered nurse. Important thing to remember, my friends, if you're taking this pathway, your work experience should be after 2017, specifically after 1st January 2017 should be your nursing working experience. So let's take an example to understand pathway 1. So Maria from UK, who has done her nursing degree in one of the universities in UK in, let's say, 2015 or 2014, and now she wants to move to Australia as a registered nurse. Okay, so Maria, in terms of her qualification, she ticked the criteria that she has done a nursing degree in UK, all good with her nursing degree. Now Maria must have a valid nursing license in UK to be eligible in this pathway, and also she should have 1,800 hours of work experience as a registered nurse after January 2017. If Maria meets all these requirements, and of course the other standards like the criminal history standards and English language pathway, etc., and the other standards, she is most welcome to apply under the pathway 1 for assessment with APRA. Now let's talk about pathway 2. Pathway 2 is for those nurses who have not completed a nursing degree in these countries but is working as a registered nurse in one of these countries and have done their nursing degree from their home country, example India, Nepal, Philippines, after 1st January 2017. Okay, so what it means is basically you should have graduated after 1st January 2017. That's the most important thing you need to note here in terms of the qualification requirement. Of course, you should be a bachelor nurse from your home country. Diploma nurses are not eligible under this pathway again. Okay, second requirement that you have under this pathway, pathway 2, is that you should have a valid nursing license in one of these comparable countries. Third requirement is that you should have successfully completed and passed the licensing exam in one of these countries. So for example, if you are in UK, Ireland, then you must have passed the CBT and OSCE, or if you are practicing as a nurse in Singapore, then you should have completed the Singapore license examination for registered nurses called SLE-RN, or if you're working in Canada or US, then NCLEX-RN is generally the most common examination taken by nurses to get their nursing license. So the fourth requirement is in terms of your experience. Again, for your experience, you should have completed 1,800 hours of work experience as a registered nurse in one of these comparable countries, and that experience should be after 1st January 2017. The fifth requirement is terms of your English language requirement or English language standard. So if you are a registered nurse and you meet all these criteria above that I've explained you, then you need to check whether you meet the English language requirement. So there are two ways to prove your English language proficiency. Either you currently have a valid English test result, that is your IELTS, OET or PT scores, and we had done a detailed video about the new English language standard implemented by APRA. You can go and check out this video. I'll put the link in the description and also in the I button here and also at the end of the video. But either you should have a valid IELTS score now, or you can also use your previous previous IELTS or OET or PTE scores. If those scores are expired now, you can also use them still if you were able to secure your nursing job in one of these countries within 1 year of passing the IELTS or OET examination. Clubbing of the two scores is also valid under this pathway. Just to give you an example, let's say I took my IELTS on 2nd February 2015 and I was able to secure the required IELTS score for UK, that is 7 each in listening, reading and speaking and 6.5 in writing. And if within 1 year, so before January 2015, I was able to start my work in UK as a pre-registered nurse or a healthcare professional or a registered nurse, then I can still use my old IELTS score or expired IELTS score. But if you were not able to secure your employment in one of these countries within 1 year of passing your IELTS, then you may need to write the examination once again to meet this standard. So if you meet all these 5 requirements that I have explained you, then you are eligible to apply under the new assessment pathway, which is called the pathway 2. If you do not meet any one of these, then you'll have to apply to APRA and then you may need to write the NCLEX and OSCE examination. But if you have these 5 requirements, all boxes ticked, then you will be exempted from the NCLEX and OSCE examination. Okay, let's take an example to understand the pathway 2 better. So meet Raj, a registered nurse in India who has done his graduation in the year 2018, and then after his graduation he wrote his IELTS examination and then went to Ireland to practice as a registered nurse there. Raj passed his CBT in his home country, that is India, and then when he reached Ireland he started working as a pre-registered nurse. Within 2 to 3 months he was able to pass OSCE and get the nursing license in Ireland. Raj has been working in Ireland continuously after his nursing license and has easily more than 1,800 hours of work experience. So it means Raj can easily apply under pathway 2 and get exempted from NCLEX and OSCE and get their nursing license directly in Australia. Since you all have a better understanding of the 2 pathways, now let's move on to what documents you will need. In terms of the documents, you will need to prove your identity. So you'll need to do your ID verification, etc. Then you'll also need your graduation documents and transcript clearly indicating that you have graduated after 1st January 2017. The third list of documents are basically related to your IELTS or OET scores and the authentication directly from your IELTS or OET vendor to APRA. Fourth is your nursing license verification from the countries where you have held your nursing license, generally in the last 7 years. So let's say India, where you have had your first nursing license, then you need a valid nursing license verification from India as well, along with the comparable countries wherever you are working. Next would be your employer verification of your 1,800 hours of work experience in one of these countries. And of course, you will need to undergo your international criminal history checks. Also, it's important to note that you will need to provide APRA your examination results. So that is your results of your CBT, results of your OSCE, or if you have taken NCLEX, then the results of NCLEX is required. Now let's look at the cost that you'll need to plan to undergo this assessment pathway. The first one is the initial assessment. You have to pay APRA. As of now, it is $410. It keeps on changing, so please make sure to check the APRA's website so that you have an updated fees. Then second is your international criminal history check fee that you pay, and it's based upon per country cost. So approximately $160 per country is what you need to think of. And the last one is the APRA license fee. So again, this fee keeps on changing, but as of now, the fee is approximately $500. We will definitely keep you updated if any of these fee changes, but as of now, this is what you need to plan. In terms of the process timeline, so how quickly APRA processes your application, so I would say APRA is pretty good with it. Generally, it takes 6 to 8 weeks for them to complete your assessment and issue you your nursing license. So I hope this video was useful for all of you. Before you go, we are having an exclusive webinar for our UK Ireland nurses on 12th of April, 10 a.m. British Standard Time, in which we will be discussing all about the new registration updates, as well as my friend, my colleague Dipendra will also join me and he will answer all your migration related questions. We will leave the link to register for this webinar in the description box below. So make sure if you are available on April 12th, go and register on this webinar right away. Before you go, my friends, make sure to subscribe our channel and hit the notification bell so that you do not miss any of our future videos. Until next time, stay safe and stay happy.